you, Mr. President. May I be allowed to explain my vote?
You have 1 minute, sir.
Maybe a minute and a half.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, all of us here, public officers and employees, including members of the armed forces, before embarking on a life of public service, took a solemn oath, and I quote, to uphold and defend the Constitution, to bear true faith and allegiance to it. Taimtim tayong nanumpa na matapat nating ipagkakaloob sa abot nating kakayahan na itaguyod at ipagtanggol ang saligang batas na magkakaroon ng totoong pananampalataya at katapatan dito. Pinag-isa tayo ng saligang batas sa ating pagiging lingkod bayan. Gaano kasagrado ang ating sinumpaang mga tungkulin sa bayan? Our troops have protected and defended us, know this sacred duty. They know this when they leave their homes to fight in battle. Many have paid with their limbs and lives for this adherence to the Constitution. Ano ang sinasabi ng saligang batas tungkol sa martial law? Article 7, Section 18 of the Constitution states, upon the initiative of the President, the Congress may in the same manner extend such proclamation or suspension for a period to be determined by Congress, if the invasion or rebellion shall persist and public safety requires it. Wala na hong aktwal na rebellion. Hindi kailangan para sa kaligtasan ng bayan. The threat that terrorists and rebels pose is not a basis for an extension of military rule in Mindanao. The same provision of the Constitution gives the President a limited power not exceeding 60 days to suspend the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus or place the Philippines and or any part thereof under martial law. Again, as provided by the same Constitution, we all swore and to uphold, Congress gave the President a 6-month extension while the battle was ongoing. Now here we are again to discuss the President's request to extend it by 1 year, and on what grounds? We submit the grounds do not exist to merit such an extension. Walang aktwal na rebellion, hindi kailangan para sa kaligtasan ng bayan. The Constitution which we all public officers and employees swore to uphold and defend gives actual rebellion or invasion as the only justification for the declaration of martial law. The extreme power of martial law for a period of 1 year in any part of the country without actual rebellion but merely a threat was never intended by our framers. In fact, our framers amended the section of martial law and removed the provision or imminent danger thereof in the 1935 and 1973 Constitution. Martial law is an extreme measure and should never be resorted to except in extreme circumstances. Bilang mga lingkod bayan, hindi lang natin isinasantabi ang ating sagradong tungkulin na itaguyod at ipagtanggol ang saligang batas. Mukhang lalabagin pa natin at palalawakin pa. For us to go after terrorists and those who disregard our laws, we must do so consistent with the rule of law and the Constitution. Otherwise, we find ourselves in the danger of becoming lawbreakers or disregarding the rule of law. And I quote, we become the monsters, the danger of becoming the monsters we seek to defeat. We understand that martial law in Mindanao is popular in many areas on the ground, but its declaration, whether popular or not, must be based on the Constitution. It was earlier expressed that the imposition of martial law is an exercise of political will by the executive. We have no problem with the exercise of political will for as long as this will does not supplant the sovereign will of the people as expressed in the Constitution. Our oath is not merely words. Our oath is a sacred act of commitment of office and duty that binds us, public servants, to our nation and our people. Taimtim tayo nanumpa na matapat nating ipagkaloob sa abot ng ating kakayahan na itaguyod at ipagtanggol ang saligang batas na magkakaroon ng totoong pananampalataya at katapatan dito. It is with regret that I say that the grant of martial law extension without actual rebellion for the period of 1 year, a wholesale period of 1 year, is not only contrary to the Constitution, it is an abdication of our sacred duty and the surrendering of our power as Congress to act as a check and balance on the executive branch. In closing, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, this representation was a student activist in the early 80s who stood up against martial law and authoritarian rule. I must admit, I never thought the day would come again that martial law would be imposed on our nation. We fought martial law then, and I can say we did not fight martial law in my youth for us today to reimpose it on our people and our nation. The struggle to uphold our Constitution, the rule of law, and our democracy continues. Maraming salamat.